Thus I have heard. At one time the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Ultra Peak Mountain, the great gathering of monks and the great assembly of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, Noble Abong Rinpoche, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the Venerable Abong Rinpoche, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son of a lineage train who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke. The Noble Abong Rinpoche, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, answered the Venerable Shariputra with these words. Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The five skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure nor pure, and they neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There is no quality of sight and so on until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance and so on until no old age and death and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom, and have become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequal mantra, a mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata, Om Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhi Soha. Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasatva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasatva, Noble Avalokiteshvara, that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage of this soul. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Parsharvati Putra and Noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasatva, and the entire gathering, as well as worthy beings, gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One.
Kare Chebe Kone Je Tsongkapa Koson Doje Mondo Tsadoso Yundo Kele Chebe Chebe Ko Tayen Dore Dewa Kore Son Mare Cheja Cheje Chebe Do Jaye Zowa De La Sowa De Doje Chenpo De Shen Doje Jan Doje De Lo Boda Na Lo Ba Dejo Dobe Boda Ade Jan Yane Chela Chela Sowa De Chamba Tome Yenye Na Rode Chode Dure De Na Rabe De Seza Gosa De Ne Sene Ba Yaje Chebe Jela Sowa De Yaya Yume Choje Ludo Dan Dawa Dobo Rebe Kujo Je Sanje Kujo Baba Yaze So Samo Dabe Jela Sowa De Shiru Dabe Choma Ade Jan Kala Debe Mebo Dode Je Mejo Nanje Kuche Sona So Kada Lama Nana Sowa De Kanje Jinde Soje Tsongkapa Wado Rebe Wansho Jazanje Doma Dembe Dabo Ketroje Yase Juba Jela Sowa De Jason Gode Lama Doje Jan Kala Gande Shinye Suzone Chodan Temo Mundo Zazebe Deje Lama Nana Sowa De Raja Sura Duna Taleme Keran Dabe Jode Jojo Sere Jube Dabe Sebayi Sanje Shinye Nana Sowa De Jewa Gudu Yanda Lama Dan Deme Jije Bela Lonje Jing Sana Lonje Yente Razone Loje Change Gopanye Doi Shu Sanje Chudan Soje Chudan Janjo Bado Dane Jazunje Loje Jinje Jebe Sadan Dala Benje Sanje Dobajo Chedon Doje Chanana Sanjo Bado Dane Jazunje Loje Jinje Jebe Sadan Benje Sanje Dobajo Chedon Doje Chanana Sanjo Bado Dane Jazunje Daye Chenye Jebe Samanje Lola Sanje Dubanjo Okay. Yeah. 당한 주도마 주체냐 자원자는 동북균로 특히 처벌 균로식으로 왔습니다.
So as usual, it is important for us to cultivate appropriate motivations for receiving the teachings.
당한서 균로체세데 아니 저런 가르치고 해서 좋아하고 괜찮아. 근데 내가 알아게 몇번도 두고 해서라나 레테드에 들어와.
So in order to cultivate appropriate motivations, one need to ask a question to oneself. For what purpose I'm being here today? And what is the objective of being here today? So then the answer to this question is, I'm here to fulfill the wish of myself and other beings. This will be the answer. So what is your wish then here? The wish would be that desire for happiness and overcome suffering. So now here, the fulfilled to desire for happiness and overcome suffering, is it only for yourself, or that you're wishing happiness upon all other sentient beings, or just only for yourself? So then here, the answer would be that just as I myself, long to achieve happiness and overcome suffering, so too all other sentient beings have a similar desire to achieve happiness and overcome suffering. Thus, I'm here to, fulfill the wishes not only for myself but that of all other sentient beings. So then, where you are cultivating these motivations, and in whose presence that you are cultivating such a motivation is here, as we have recited earlier, supplication to his Buddha Shakyamuni, followed by the lineage masters of the Lam Rim. So therefore, we are cultivating this motivation, the positive motivation, in the presence of all those great beings. So here, you are cultivating this appropriate motivation in the presence of the great beings, such as Buddha Shakyamuni and then the lineage gurus of the Lam Rim. Not only that you are being in their presence, but you yourself is surrounded by all sentient beings, including one's own kind parents. So with this kind of motivation, that cultivating a genuine faith and devotion to the noble beings, and generating compassion for all other sentient beings. So this is how we actually fulfill, with this kind of motivation and followed by the practice, will fulfill the wishes of oneself and others. And this is also what is known as the deeds of the Bodhisattvas. So let's take 3 minutes to meditate on it, to cultivate appropriate motivations.
아치 당한테 또 쓰인다. 나도 느끼는 치가 지내는 컨센버셔 있죠. 대바치 비추었어요. 네, 샹조나지는 봐. 너가 강경원도 시는 게 봐도 그야. 네, 샹조나지는 봐.
So with these positive motivations, we're receiving the teachings, what is known as the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment by Lam Rim Chenmo, and this is such a profound teaching. It is necessary for both the practice of Sutrayana as well as Tantrayana.
되게 최다 전부터 토마스 손발에서나 아니 토마니 좀 투명 뭐 이런이 동아자 나라지 동아자가 주면 아니 되네 봐도 아니 자가 있는로는 되나고 아니 냐네제 아니 되네 니 베줄로 자와서 아니 카투 자와기는 수백일이죠 아니 제 진행제 아니 냐뇽사 아니 되네 니 거스 봐봐 아니 장원하면 정원 신배 니 냐뇽이 돈이 제 되게 최다지 맞죠.
So, such teachings, the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment, is the source of this teaching is Buddha Shakyamuni. The Buddha is the one who actually gave these teachings more than 2,500 years ago, and this is then transmitted to his followers, the great Indian masters, and. Not only they have received the teachings, but also undertaken a very extensive practice. This is then transmitted to the great masters of the Tibet. In other words, it is translated from Sanskrit in Indian language, directly Indian language to Tibetan language, which is then practiced by the great Tibetan masters. And at this point, the particular text that we're receiving the teachings on is the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment. It's written by Lam Rim Chenmo, the teaching that he has received and practiced, and this particular teaching that is written by Lam Rim Chenmo is his own experiential knowledge.
다니도 남아 이체 와서 나서 와이나 나 저기 대령 가서 빼나 나 저기 대랑리 친이 집에 가라 네 잠블린 되네 옆에 제기 서로 간가 기초 당으로서 시여야다 이뭐 간가 되셔.
So we have a saying that when we are receiving the teachings of the Lam Rim Chenmo, when teachings of the Lam Rim Chenmo is given, it says the essence of all the teachings of the Buddha actually shivers, moves, in other words.
아니 걔네 체내제도 교노 가르고서는 아니 가서 단지 강전에 아니 다 타이빈도 선생님도 다 제고 그래서디 체내 시행에 날이 용에 나요. 저 대바침에 저인자는 교노 대바침에 교노기 선바치.
So therefore, since the teachings belongs to the category of the Mahayana teachings, that's important for both teacher and the listeners or the disciples need to cultivate Mahayana motivations, which is your sole purpose of receiving these teachings is to gain state of enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings.
다 던져 자침버지나 다 사이 사정거지 때 가르래서로서나 남방거지 하마치 때트리를 봐서 되니 하마 주부충이 받세 되네서데 선제기 사람 많이 받 주비를 받 방리마도 장카마치 아니 오늘 전해잖는데 방진이 자셔야지.
So now, this is how these teachings must be practiced. Beginning from the small scope capacity of the practitioners all the way to the state of enlightenment is given in a very sequential order. It is stage by stage, and by undertaking the practice of the small capacities, from where you transient to the practice of middling capacities and great capacities, all the way to the state of enlightenment.
나 칼라르마서는 창소 자주고는 진이 자셔. 다 말어서기 칼라마사이는 다로. 다 생지 거를 주고도 자지 자기 다시도 마동한테 도바진 내내려면도 센지 대지기 조고도 자고에나 단들 체니죠.
So everything is actually, included in this practice or the teachings, the great treatises on the stages of the path of enlightenment. Just like the table, the full of food. You have all kind of foods that you can choose, whatever the food that you want to eat. Unless you really just don't want to eat it, this is your choice. But other than that, you have everything, whatever the teachings that you want to choose from that. You are, all those teachings and the practice are accessible in these teachings of the great deities on the stages of the path of enlightenment.
노트간이 쇼고를 계시지 소속이 저같이 당내이나 맞소기 뇌에 대지 휴치면 되고 간실라 대지니지 나네 아니 가르래 류소코지 대화지마도 센소코지 대화를 되는지는 제명와 인산에 가시 주샤나 야전로에 되래.
So what is what is wrong with us here? Normally, if you really examine ourselves very carefully, when we speak about, desire for happiness and overcome sufferings, our achievement of happiness and overcome suffering is only on the physical level, on sensational level. We're not limiting our understanding of happiness and suffering is at the sensational level. We're unable to move beyond that. We're not really thinking about how we can improve our mind, subjective mind rather than objective. So, how we can improve our subjective mind and be happy mentally.
나서는 단들 리소의 센소이 대화돼서요. 나시나게 좋아져야 가르기 나오여 말해서라서나 나서기 단다기 센소이 대화돼 리소의 대화돼 뒤진제.
So why we are unable to achieve the happiness that we always long to achieve? It's because we are unable to, bring a change. We're unable to bring a change about our own mind.
당가서 뭐비네스기 제와에서나 오늘 전에기 때도 좋아맹이 대치지 거고에나 생기 대화 체니바도 루터데 녜바도 거고다.
It is very important if one really wants to achieve happiness, unchangeable happiness, or in other words, everlasting happiness. We really need to understand our own mind and try to transform our mind so that can bring about everlasting happiness.
근데 다른 저기 센서데 리소데 저와 인자네 때문에서 라사인데. 근데 세버 수치 뭐 수지래서 때문에 면되대. 나도 저다 연데. 그 리소데 제비 센서 차연데 리소데 원래 나시나기 좋아래도.
So this our happiness of the physical level of happiness or the sensational level of happiness, it's just like a weather. It keeps changing each moment. It doesn't, stay in one conditions. So this is, if you can examine and analyze, carefully, then you'll be able to find out yourself.
저희 사진이 봐니 남방가지 로마지들이 말아니지 나저서 신예팀 비서도 때내로 제다장이 말아니지 다 동본지자 다 때내로 제다장이 말아니지 뒤에는 힘벌림 비서 그거는 힘벌 제단님 비서니지 다 동본지자 다 힘벌 제단님 비서들은 아니지 나지 나저는 힘벌 제단 힘벌림서 뭐지 다 동본지자 다 힘벌림서 뭐들라 손지 집에 충분한 동호회 나제를 많이 하서는 주변 전다 동호회 나제를 많이 하서는 집에 챔비 나제를 많이 하서는 제지 당가서 거서 그 집에 챔비 나제를 많이 하서는 제생이 된대.
So we are on the chapter, the stages of the path for a person of great capacity.
Oh, great capacity. Chapter 2?
Yes.
그 도대로 쉬우서야라서
Small capacity, chapter 1. And medium.
Volume 2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
됐지. 다행이다. 당가서 때는지. 당가서
You okay?
동물들이다. 당가서 때는다. 돼서. 당가서 되다. 주부총 당가서 되는 것인데 알랭이 쇼쇼치 시행이다 사지. 주부총이 이게 가르쳐 버렸잖아. 지와시면 편절에 내로대 터실라 매개 주봉이 처전에 송어야 돼. 주부총이 랑가치 루자치.
So now, here we have completed the teachings on the small capacity, the person of small capacity and the middling capacities. So, what is the objective of the person of small capacities, the practitioner of the person of the great small capacity, is to achieve higher rebirth in our future life by observing 10 virtuous actions and abandoning 10 non-virtuous actions. This is the purpose of engaging in the practice of the person of small capacity.
주부총이 랑제 랑제만 야슬레면디 아니 코이님이 다 아니 대유 된다를 다음에 또 비셔라 당 연족이 상반이데 랑치.
So then the person of the middling capacity, the stages of the path for the person of the middling capacities, the essence of those practice is to free oneself from samsara by understanding the faults of cyclic existence. Having understood the faults of cyclic existence of the samsara, one then employs a path which becomes a remedy for the faults of cyclic existence, such as the path of renunciation and the wisdom realizing selflessness.
당가서 거기서 주부 첨부 나저를 많이 다 가르쳐 버잖아. 주부 첨부 이 내가 가르쳐 버려. 첨부 인사는 내가 첨부 적으로 왔어.
So now at this point we're on the stage of the path for the person of great capacity. So we're on the stage of the path for the person of the great capacities. So we need to do something great, isn't it?
주부 첨부하지 차소나 되차를 잠을리 짐이 차월 짐이
So we are
맺지고 말았다 짐이 차월에 간지 집이 잘라.
So we actually become a shared person, in other words, on this planet Earth. When you are on the stages of the path for the great capacity, the person of great capacity, you're a shared person, shared by everyone, in other words.
집이 차바만세 선생 용수도 받대 소소 이게 그게 차월에.
In other words, think about, not only that you have become a shared person of all sentient beings on the planet Earth, but also you could say that all sentient beings have become your your children, sorry. So this is how you should cultivate a sense of connectedness and sense of caring for other beings. So therefore now from that, then we need to move on.
내가 여보 맞잖아. 제제대 계획 배조도면 손지 차고. 잘라 되어서 집이 잘라 인산 소소계획이 된다 지루하이나 가래 고자리도 차로래 그 지지게다 저지 년까지 뭐.
So now here we have a great commitment here now, being the practitioner of the great capacity. We have a great responsibility, we have a great commitment here by receiving the vows of the bodhisattvas. Having received the bodhisattva's vow, what we are committing here is to follow the footsteps of the bodhisattvas, which is working for the welfare of all other sentient beings. If one is unable to do that, then it is almost like you're using the shared object and you're not fulfilling the wishes of the community. In other words, you're using the object that is shared by community, but you are not working for the community. So now, when one is on the stages of the person of the great capacity, one's practice must be, solely, for the welfare of other sentient beings. One should not have even a slightest, motivation of self-centeredness or the self-centered attitudes. Self-centered attitude must be abandoned when one is on the stages of the path of the great capacity. If one become a real practitioner of the great capacities, then it will transcend from the blissful state to blissful states. There is no way that you will fall from that and become unhappy with what you are doing. But the question is now, it depends on whether or not you're really following the commitments of the Bodhisattvas. You should have such a diligence and enthusiastic or joyous perseverance of engaging in such a practice. Regardless of what kind of sentient beings that you may come across with, whether they are so brutal and so violent or whatever, whoever you come across with, you will always have your sense of connectedness and your sense of caring will never diminish. So when speaking about the quality of the Bodhisattva, it is unfathomable, it is inexpressible, the quality of the Bodhisattvas, because the quality of the Bodhisattva is like vast as ocean, so it's so hard to express. So it is the practice of the Bodhisattva, or the practice of the generation of bodhicitta, is the entrance to the Mahayana practice. When speaking about the Mahayana, there are of two different kinds of vehicles, the two different vehicles in Mahayana, such as Bodhisattvayana and Vrajayana. So either one, whichever you wanted to enter into, but you have to begin by cultivating bodhicitta. So here now, when one is considering oneself as a Mahayana practitioner, then whether or not that one is qualified Mahayana practitioner or not, it entirely depends upon one's motivations. Motivation is the one that determines whether you are Mahayana practitioner or not. In other words, the motivation of bodhicitta. It is needed. Not only just you have intellectual understanding of bodhicitta, what is meant by bodhicitta, but you should at least have even a contrived, cultivation of bodhicitta, practice of bodhicitta. It's needed to become oneself as a practitioner of the Mahayana. So it is the entrance to the Mahayana, or the higher vehicle, is only the practice of bodhicitta. There's no other way around. It is a bodhicitta which enables us to enter into the Mahayana vehicle.
네, 가서 될때 계시시디 파마기 계시시 봐. 파기리데 다데 몽고 차로 그래. 내가 이 던지지로. 네, 저희 사지들 손에 대받침도 로장하네. 네, 대신 가서 대받침을 주고 생제 권한 된 봐. 네, 생대 간대치는 제거래. 네, 생제는 자서 쉬어 간들 하고 그래.
So it begins from
So
we talked about the first those three headings. If you can memorize those three headings, will be really helpful and beneficial, showing that developing the spirit of enlightenment is only entrance to Mahayana, right? It begins from that, and how to develop the spirit of enlightenment, with spirit of enlightenment referring to bodhicitta, and how to learn the bodhisattva's deed after developing the spirit of enlightenment. So those are the three headings that if you memorize, this will be really helpful. So out of those three headings, so we are under the first heading, which is showing the developing the spirit of enlightenment is the only entrance to the Mahayana. So we're on the page 18. Page 18 on the Nagarjuna's precious garland. It is third last paragraphs, precious garlands. Since aspirational prayers and deeds and complete dedication of the Bodhisattva are not explained in the Sharbaka vehicle, how then could you become a bodhisattva through it? Yes. So here now, how can we, distinguish between bodhisattva, practitioner of the bodhisattvayana, and practitioner of the lower vehicle or the Theravadan practitioners, is made on the basis of whether or not one have cultivated or practicing bodhicitta. So here, when speaking about the practice of the bodhisattva, we're not talking about the philosophical standpoint. We're not talking about the philosophical viewpoint. Rather, we're on the deeds. Once on, that it is made on the differentiate in accordance with one's deed. Thus he said that you have differentiated these vehicles not by the philosophical view, but by deeds. If in this way, even the wisdom that knows emptiness is not a specifically Mahayana path, then it goes without saying that there are other shared paths as well. So what it says is now the exclusive path that makes that the Mahayana path is the method aspect, not the wisdom aspect. The wisdom aspect, in other words, the wisdom realizing emptiness, is not exclusive path of the Mahayana. It is shared path by both Mahayana and Hinayana.
맞아. 저도 개체 기본에 고아세버치 된죠. 돈이 또베 셔러라 용세라 그래. 가래래서 나서나 티바 송가 제사기 아마리스라고 그러. 디디 송가 아마리도.
So here now, wisdom realizing emptiness, or in the Parajana Paramita is said to be, Parajana Paramita is said to be the great mother. Why it is called great mother is because it's a mother of all three vehicles. Vehicle of Sharvakayana, vehicle of Pratyekavadayana, and vehicle of Mahayana, or the vehicle of Bodhisattvayana. So now the exclusive, causes and condition for becoming oneself as a Mahayanan is the only one method, only one condition, what is the method aspect, which is the bodhicitta, cultivation of bodhicitta. So this is how we could see the free of contradictory. Sometimes when we speak about why this, the bodhicitta is said to be the exclusive cause for becoming oneself as a Mahayana practitioner, and wisdom realizing emptiness is not exclusive, and cause for Mahayana practitioners and so forth. So this is how we can, we should find this, free of contradictory. You should have understanding free of contradictory. So if you really study the Lam Rim Chenmo, then you will be able to know, bodhicitta becoming exclusive path of Mahayana. So this the Lam Rim Chenmo, which is great stages to the path of enlightenment, it's a really exclusive teaching. In other words, not only just you are exercising your intellectual exercise, but also by reading and studying it, after studying and reading this Lam Rim Chenmo carefully, right away you can engage in the practice. It is because all the stages of the path are actually, prepared very sequentially. So you are ready to engage in the path and follow the path. So then it says, hence it is a clear indication that you have very little familiarity with the teachings when after you have taken the spirit of enlightenment to be the crucial instructions. So you do not practice it, but after recalling it at the beginning of the session, only in words, you intently make great effort at some single and small portion of the path. So what this passage actually emphasizes here is when one is engaging in the practice of Mahayana, one's practice, one should making sure that your practice is really based upon the practice of bodhicitta. So therefore it says, like, whatever the practice that we may undertake, such as reciting verses or meditating, one's meditation or the reciting of sutras and so forth must be done on the basis of cultivation of bodhicitta.
This is a double joto and a tangan from ransom is from Chidoa. Also, changes and such a Morichiche, Gondo, Gold Conscious de Chiche, and me Yamalesona, Cocarin and Hardo, and a Kosovo de Chiche and Mado. When they're trying to dig it, Matsuti Charlie and Dawa singing Chiro.
So this is strongly emphasizes to us, when this passage, when you look at the passage, it is actually, advice for us. For us, when we know that how precious the practice of bodhicitta, how precious it is to cultivate bodhicitta. But when it comes to the practice, and the practice of bodhicitta become mere word, and then we're putting a lot of effort in something else, which is completely devoid of cultivation of bodhicitta.
Taluina, Chisa, Chipichabala, Pamanincha Goba, Tahasundu. Lanchatana, Toda Shiroji, Shu, Sama Guishin, Chiba does, Tojuzo, Shanchuji Sandan, Shirojuzo, Tony to be Tuniji, Toba Gulas, Gede Rewali Mogona, Qualit, Joa, San, Dandinuane, Chanela, Laton to Career, Laton to Matua, how the Matua Shene, Dame but two Tomba, Niji Tangon Guana, Tiba Chembo, Kircha Nane, Shanchuji Saint Jango by Inde, Jose Chambe,
So then here it says, in general, just as both father and mother are needed to have a child, you need the entire complement of method and wisdom to have a complete path. In particular, you need the main method, the spirit of enlightenment, and the main wisdom, the knowledge of emptiness. If you only meditate on one of them and diligently seek merely to liberate from cyclic existence, then you have to meditate on the meaning of emptiness or selflessness without mistaking meditative serenity for insight. Nonetheless, if you claim to be a Mahayana practitioner, then you must be practicing the spirit of enlightenment as well. Why? You need wisdom to prevent the falling into the extreme of cyclic existence, and then you need a compassion to prevent falling into the extreme of peace of nirvana. So wisdom does not prevent you from falling into the extreme of peace, as the Venerable Maitreya says. So so if one wants to give a birth to a child of Mahayana, one must practice both wisdom aspect and then method aspect. So otherwise, if you just want to choose one path, either method or wisdom, such as if you choose to practice only wisdom which understands emptiness, suddenly it will free yourself from cyclic existence or samsara, but will not lead to the state of enlightenment. If one really claims oneself to be a practitioner of the Mahayana, one need to cultivate bodhicitta, one need to practice bodhicitta. It is therefore the Venerable Maitreya says here in the Ornament of Clear Knowledge. Abhisamayalam Kra. Yes.
싫어지 시와 홍아 메케 비 싫어서 시비타 만호아 테멜라야 유비 시다 샹추지 센제 가지조 시비타노 이비 싫어서.
So then here, Abhisamaya Ahamkarabha, the Maitreya, it says, through knowledge, you do not abide in cyclic existence. Through compassion, you do not abide in peace. It says, if you are a Mahayana practitioner, you must practice the spirit of enlightenment, because even in the Mahayana, you do not fall into the extreme of cyclic existence. Oh, sorry, what's that? Mahayana, yes, sorry, Mahayana. Sorry. You do not fall into the extreme of cyclic existence. And then the main thing to be the prevent on the bodhisattva's part is to the falling into the extreme of peace. So what kind of path that one need to practice, one need to cultivate here, is to the path that really prevents us from not falling into the extreme of peace and extreme of some of cyclic existence. Where we are falling into at this point, and we are in the extreme of cyclic existence, because we are wandering within the cyclic existence. So the arhats, such as Shervaka and Pratyeki Buddhas, arhats, are not, they are not fall into the extreme of samsara, but they are fall into the extreme of peace. In order to prevent oneself not falling into the extreme of samsara, one need to cultivate wisdom realizing emptiness. So in order to prevent oneself from falling into the extreme of peace, and one need to cultivate bodhicitta and compassion, great compassion in other words. So now the bodhisattvas are said to be, freed from both extremities. So we'll take here a break.
당한 세계는 이제 탈레면에봐 가르고르서 이렇게 제대로 기타셔 임발라다 세계는 이제 탈레면 샹추선부터 세계는 이제 탈레 내가 말이에요. 가르쳐야 살아서나.
We talked about the bodhisattvas are free from the both extreme peace, extreme of peace and extreme of samsara.
더 세계는 이제 탈레 내가 말해서는 kan지 더 세계는 이제 탄 곳이 지나 열었을라. 다 kan지 샹추선부 콜을 내신바도 거의 콜 내버라로. 내가 규질라 시탄 곳이 가려열에서나 규질라 담에도 비셔야 되어라.
So the reason why I'm saying that bodhisattvas are free from the two extremes is because the bodhisattva possess those remedy for both extreme of peace and extreme of samsara.
당가서 강가지여로 코알은 코이 자와서서나 단지 말이 바르 생각 솔로 두고요 와.
So we all know that what is the root cause of our, root cause of cyclic existence of the samsara is the marikpa, right? Avidya, or the ignorance or the grasping at self.
된 곳에 대해서나 남에도 비실어서 두고요 와.
So we all know that remedy to that grasping at self is the wisdom realizing selflessness, isn't it?
남에도 비실어려면 시탄 곳이 있으라 그래.
So then wisdom realizing selflessness is also known as the destroyer of extreme of cyclic existence, extreme of samsara.
다 테메게 라운드스 라니 찍고 타치 디시 대퇴니시 로지로와 말 된된 얘기 가사지로와 테메 받았어.
So the Theravedic practitioner or the Hinayana practitioners are solely to achieve peace. In other words, or solely to achieve free from samsara for one's own self.
다 딘주라니 찍고 시대 된된 얘기 될 되게 나차대 가르서는 란진진대로와.
So why it is happening is because of the self-cherishing attitude is still there. Even though that you wanted to free yourself from the cyclic existence, only yourself, then there is the flavor of self-cherishing mind is still there.
딘주라니 진지 찍고 집어용한 강에 대해서는 니지 전부터 상주세.
This self-cherishing mind can be uprooted by cultivation of great compassion.
대라 시탄 곳에서라 그래. 소 니지 전부 코로나는 문제 제로 좀 시험인데.
Great compassion is known as the destroyer of shiveta, which is the extreme of peace.
가슴이 그러나 봐. 여러 생에 시대 된진행의 진소나 뉴모 범비 뉴모데 매버 차스게 집어되니라 깨발라 소발라 대가란 데도 몇 남에서 그러다 시디인라.
So arhats such as Sharvaka and Pratika Buddhas, arhats of Pratika Buddha and Sharvakas, once they achieve free from samsara, they will, remain focused on the extreme of peace, the peace and in the being within the meditative equipoise for eons.
나는 대가란 데는 지그로고 뉴모데 매버 차네 쇼이 대화들 가서기 때도나 지그로 알라나 땅 가서 로그비 손지로고 뉴모 매버 차네 maybe 타데니를 집어지는 쇼바로.
So then you could say, since those arhats actually freed themselves from delusion, and it is okay to be, remaining meditative equipoise for eons and eons on the peace. It would be okay if you were to ask this question to yourself.
telanga soke lejo de digi mare karisana korongi tanda tashi ba riya mare jende da kayin.
So then answer to this question is it is not appropriate. Why? Because just by achieving free from samsara or the liberation doesn't mean that you have fulfilled the purpose of yourself, oneself and the purpose of others. Let alone that fulfilling the purpose of others, it is not even fulfill the purpose of one's own self.
Tele manuchi tele pe kodewa de shesona ani babaji ki phama pugu dan namai le jito jine meje kono chiko dewa chene ni kudu sorchi ro phama namu de kange wala shuji ne da chi.
Just let's take an example of a parent or the father of one family who is so happy and and enjoying himself, but not really thinking about the other, the family members.
Ta de naji ngaso dana ngaso rangi ji mese de khaya la ke che sona ta rani ji go sana do ma shin chi to jin me je wa ja rani ke son kare yona yo ini jenda kare yona yo se lo ton le ke che je ro de da ngaso je de na ma ro zo ro jenda to sen je me je ma ro.
Even in our mundane world, if someone who is being so selfish, someone who wanted to be happy him or herself, but they do not really become careless about what others have, what is happening to other sentient beings and other beings, then it is a little bit, it's not really appropriate even in mundane world.
딘주의 처바지 정해진서는 게 단지로게 상주 선발라 처바지 선발의 야단은 이게 조금도 세워나기 코야 수계 동행들 상주 선의 용징인데 소 현지 정보로 와 현지 정보세대 선진 간디질로 통 지당 가서 이게 로장 카톨로 코노 세니다 되고로 와 이나 인디 카톨로코 시탄 고시에 가는 도로 스케치지로 와 뒤행인 저희죠 이나 현지 정보세대 해서나 라니 로동오래 아니 파마이 베질을 써와는 롱한게 쟁이지 로치려고 다 간제 선진 간디질미나 동해 여면 계셔지는 말이에요.
So, this great compassion, compassion is said to be the one that actually prevents oneself from falling into the extreme of peace, because when you are cultivating this great compassion, the great compassion is having a compassion towards all sentient beings equally, and so. Completely freed from or completely devoid of when you are generating compassion towards all, great compassion, when you are cultivating great compassion and extending that great compassion towards all other sentient beings, and that, the characteristic of that mind is completely devoid of self-cherishing mind. It is completely, freed from self-cherishing mind.
인자는 가서 상제에서는 가르치는 차그리에 살아서는 루제 투지 공례 됐을 이지 쯤바 탐에도 배우 루제지 히라고 그러.
So therefore here the achievement of accomplishment of state of enlightenment is happen because of the flourishment of great compassion, the quality of compassion.
저는 되게 가서 생이 변화 단단하게 가서게 따당될 자체주도 아니래. 봐. 이나 라니 딱 간제 라니 랑라 따바나겠지. 선제 제용을 예매다 따투와이나. 지 간제 지원사를 선제 제달을 바로 펜나 라니 쯤에 차와이나 라니를 대화도 자제잘래로.
So at this point, it is very clear and obvious to say that we have a great concern for ourselves. When it comes to the other sentient beings, our concerns and sense of caring and sense of connectedness is not as intense as we have for ourselves. So if we were to able to make those concerns and sense of caring and sense of connectedness to all sentient beings equally as you have for yourself, then not only that you have you long to free from suffering of other beings, but just having the quality of such a mental capacities, you will be able to extend your compassion towards all beings without exception.
저는 뒤에 그런 대신도 오는 세례요 우리. 이나가 좋은데니 그런 것을 니제 저거 시탄 고jel에 돈유도에 시라를 시탄 고jel어디 대니 이과라 바지 레와 지야슬라다.
So therefore, this is why you should have understanding, the clear understanding of why the wisdom realizing selflessness or the emptiness is said to be the remedy for extreme of samsara, and why the great compassion is said to be the remedy for extreme of peace.
수수에서는 자와 샤몽고베 송도와 텔라 소소기 따지잖아요. 니마 리파마 파네. 다 강저선에 따지제잖아. 대용으로 제강잖아. 제 따지제 들어.
So that's what is said by the Maitra in Abhisamaya Alamkara, the ornament of clear realization or the clear knowledge.
되지. 다되는만 로인다 양아. 나를 지면은 치세고로 된다 비다 여행에 아니 용이 공도사 야보 여행에 레베제바 여행에 강가랬어요. 송월.
So the text of Lam Rim Chenmo, can be, it has a lot of reasonings. It doesn't emphasize mere faith and devotion, but rather it actually emphasizes the both, practicing and having a faith in combination of both faith as well as reasonings.
라바도 지는 뭐 지종 몽체와데 지든 잠배연라 되셔는데 조 제바 조체네 쇼지는다 그 소속에 지든 잠배연데 하이 넘발에 페나요 메드면아 이 현재 종어래다 얘나요 조 실력이 차도인 비차네 제바 슈체와체.
So most of if you look at the text written by the Lam Tsongkapa, at the beginning of his text always you will find a salutation to Manjushri, which actually indicates that Lama Tsongkapa's texts are most of the time it says, I pay homage to the Manjushri, Namusiri Manjukokaya. You will find in the beginning of the text. It's because it actually indicates that his text is reason based, in other words, rational, based on rationality. So therefore, and then also he emphasized more on the analytical meditations. Because
아니 뭐저데 드네종 세니종들 세제다의 세제에서 정으로치 양수 장대에 돼. 이제로 뭐 지종 코로나는 배제 때마도 정신단의 세위야나. 그러와. 이제로 뭐 지종은 세보스 쇼장으로 장인의 시만.
So analytical meditation is strongly emphasized, in Lama Tsongkapa's texts. Whenever you see the Lama Tsongkapa's work, you always emphasize on analytic meditations. Analysis is very important.
대마도 배정의 자존심에는 괜찮만요. 세제다 있어요. 대정으로 양수 장도와 대응바기 특모만 비 최초했던 이유도 온찬도대 장수 소설제예요.
So here, even the Buddha has given us a liberty to choose whether you to be so analytic, isn't it? Buddha has said that just like a goldsmith, examine the gold to authenticate the gold, or whether the gold is authentic or not, by examined by burning, rubbing, and cutting. Similarly, the teachings of the Buddha or Dharma must be undertaken, intense analytical meditations.
문제 전에 나니 처음에 저런 뭐지 치스로 문제 전에 벽이 너무 뭐지 이 농장급이 소리 저리 지는 예면도 뭔셔도 자전 코너 것도.
So here, when you look at the Lam Rim Chenmo, it is not like 1,000 years ago when Lama Tsongkapa actually, since Lama Tsongkapa composed this, it has been only more than just 600 years. But if you really look at and analyze this text, the quotation that we find in this text, you won't find any quotation that is written by the great masters of the Tibet, but rather his quotations are all from the Indian masters, the great masters of the nation. He cited from the great masters of the India.
다 배노라 개봉문에 전에 이 따선 로자와생이 이 카투 자가기 시주통이 로자와 깨라청 쇼지 배워라. 되게 저런 뭐 챙기 때는 우미다에 던져질러서 가이 코치 접지생이 지 땅어려. 치설을 저런 뭐 챙기 오늘 전에 야 또바지 피용디다 처음부터 로사면도 세야지. 로와. 딘디기 이 토백이 또바지 배샤래. 그래서 오늘 전에 전에 뭐 제대로라마도 쇼노 깨지지는 매로.
Then there were Tom King Chevres.
근데 때문에 당은 매게 세우다 레키 센트 세우다. 센트.
So here, Taksan Losar is one of the greatest, I would say, translator of Tibet. Translating from, he was so skilled in translating directly from Sanskrit to Tibetan. And not only just he was a great skill in translating, but also a great practitioner and gained high levels of realizations. And in the beginning, he was actually, he negated lot of the views, the philosophical standpoint of the Lama Tsongkapa. In fact, I find the 18 negation by Taksang Losawa, which is for Lama Tsongkapa. But then later, when he found this text, one of the texts, legislating, it is a golden garland by Lama Tsongkapa. When he found it, after finding that, then Taksang Losawa was, greatly regretted, and then he, composed a wonderful praise to Lama Tsongkapa.
딘주에 가서게 지 디송 정으로 제기 가서게 베비 정대 날렌터 이종이 저 인세데 또 저로 뭐지 이거는 오미기 따와 거서 좀 시에서나 오늘 전에 날렌터 이종마도 자르지는 실로 답해 말해서 시지문들로 난 등에들 로 오미 정도.
So that's why His Holiness would always say that the Buddhist tradition in Tibet is completely based on Nalanda tradition. Because if you look at Lama Tsongkapa's works, his writings, you would say that he will never touch, when he composed the text, he will never go anywhere else. But his style of composing the texts are very much based on the writings of the great Indian masters of the Nalanda.
그 로지토나 세보레 로지치고 신세만 저지 종제유나 지 남쪽 영인지나 오늘 라다도 되지로 로지토는 자주 때는 오미타와데 얘기 모두 지선 잠배라 쇼로디 아니 자종라 다시 소야다 아니 자종노 가르다고 자 뭐보여디 네 받은 다와터 비종라 다시 소야다 아니 받은 다와터 비종도 아니 산제장이 치세트는 제네 아니 오미타와 준비 로지토서 로지토는 여리 아니 종제 영이 들어와 강이 찾는 법명이 들려야다.
So even based on the story of the Lama Tsongkapa, if you look at the stories of the Lama Tsongkapa, and in the earlier his the early age, he wasn't being able to gain a realizations of the middle way. So therefore, Lama Tsongkapa had the vivid vision of the Manjushri, and the Manjushri advised Lama Tsongkapa to really to study the Indian texts. Particularly, the Manjushri recommended Lama Tsongkapa to really study the Chandrakirti's writings.
아니 델라타쇼스 대가르사는 빠된 나와 잡아데 최대니는 고볼루르기 따와 세생에게 대주 하이는 상신도 오메 따와 된라 배사 편조를 잠을래라 아니 디종라 다시 송야 된다.
So therefore Manjushri had advised Lama Tsongkapa to really to study the Chandrakirti's writings, because the Chandrakirti's commentaries on the writings of the Nagarajunas are really profound and vast and profound and so lucid. So therefore, Manjushri has recommended Lama Tsongkapa to study the Chandrakirti's writing, and then followed by the studies of the Buddha Palita, which is the clear words of the Buddha Palita, which in turn Lama Tsongkapa has had gained the realization of the middle way or the Madhyamakas.
대체 근데 로지도 중요하게 돈을 쟁행지나 또 쇼노 계속 싸워지는 메리타 뒤송노서 체력이 따지 제 영향이지.
So it's if you really look at this, the way of Lama Tsongkapa's studies, so the way he studied those texts and undertaken the studies are very much based on reasonings. Just like a scientist examine everything, but it's not just by following faith, but rather he went through a critical examinations.
대체 that's true 서로와 인간의 리스 마치버이 경우 오늘 돈에게 기준이 돼서 이게 뼈바 피상에도 주도와 이런 거잖아. 뒤뼈바에 다가서 가서 공부를 같이 지송도 지 상제 고소도 되게 주바에 니니레스는 뼈바 피고 많이 봐. 이런 거전 뼈뼈디 단 남주다. 아니 용 첨보 있지 당다 아니 조연 텐찬의 되어피면도 지 로지톤 되어피어 손이지야 되는지는 요 말에 son도 왜네 저래도
So here it is therefore a great masters, the non-sector and great masters of the past, as praised Lama Tsongkapa based on his experiential knowledge, not based on his physical appearance, but rather based on his experiential knowledge of the Dharma. So therefore, recently Karmapa Rinpoche had mentioned that when the great masters were praised Lama Tsongkapa, it's completely different praise. You would say the most of the master who praised Lama Tsongkapa is based on his knowledge. You have this knowledge, you have that knowledge, this is the knowledge that you have, this is the realization that you have. They just praise based on his knowledge.
당연히 저런은 저는 조금만에 영원에 돈에 들여라. 아저티 파신지 중생들은 도쇼 중데 콘도서 좋은데 자와 한번 거 보러 와. 아니 되버지라 아니 저런 예니 도쇼지 중들을 때라 배우디 자와 한번 거 보기 저런라 타도 제거야 되는데 되세요. 와. 근데 저는 용매서야 돼. 아주 이제 땡기 다실을 열어. 쇼지 비다고 제디 콜라 야와는 제다기 타도 제시어라. 되게 배된 거네요. 되고 비슷한데.
So here in the some praise, we would also find that it's because our Sutrayana, the text of the Sutrayana, need to be converge upon the teachings of the Maitreya. The Maitreya is the one who is the source of the teachings of the Sutrayana. With the Maitreya. In other words, the lineage of the past practice. It's called the lineage of the past practice. So therefore, then in some master praised Lama Tsongkapa that the way of your explanation on the sutra, even the Maitreya may get jealous of you. So
다들 추바체 당한 로긴다. 조만 당한이 로긴다. 대나 제유 공부했는데 제유 공부 제와라 세마집이 제세나네 림보치비 센데니 줄레잖아. 된다임에도 쇼이 랑제소시 양생원 전체에서 시번 구비인데 참모제 줄레제와라 대장도 문제인데 현줄레 손도 됐어.
So now let's read through the text again here. It says, when the conqueror's children who validly interpret the commentaries on the conqueror's intended meaning generate just this precious spirit in their mind, they are amazed and think such a marvelous path has arisen. However, they do not have this same feeling when they attend as slightest good quality, pleasing to ordinary person.
로와 다 제이 공부 제와라 세미집에서 간지는 건지 제거래 살아와이나.
So how can we identify, speaking about the children who validly interprets the commentaries on the conqueror's intended meaning?
다 제이 공부 힘아 다 자가 유로지는 세네레 네 바용용도잖아. 대다 대유거지 나네데 개발소기 용 개발설지 용 장소나 용데 배드 용시 당고도 당가서 내 용시에서도 용수 줘발라 장고도 전에 tel라 준제해서나 되게 장초대 최근 아말다네 중국 당고도 다 지부 당바 지용이 시도에서나 네 되네 용데 세대잖아 제이고만 돼발 참아차고도.
So what is meant by the children who validly interprets the commentaries of the conqueror's intended meaning here? In India, in Nalanda have a tradition of composing the commentaries.
So
So composed the commentaries, writing the commentaries on the Buddha's teaching. And one master will write the commentaries, and this commentary, after the completion of the commentaries, need to be examined by all the masters and see whether this is really what you call the conqueror's intended meaning or not. So just examined by all those great, and then whoever finds it is not a valid, interpretation on the conqueror's intended thoughts, then this text, regardless of how long it may have taken the person to write, and it will tie the book to the tail of the dog, and then it will cast away. So
that kanje tinti ji jeme ba tabi ni gomba drenge chila jayu gomba drebal semiche do sengonzi che.
So this is how we identify that someone who validly interprets the commentaries on the conqueror's intended thought.
tinti ji jube tamba ta se ge yangse kare yangse che gore lo so na ni da kanje dali che che be shangchu yi sen ro bo chi che so na one drone gi yangse wa mi de shon tere na gre es.
So this is how that writings of the commentary will really
deni sit chi gore do shangchu sen ni
really those commentators are the way they commented on those teachings, the validly commented on the teachings, really indicates that their realization of bodhicitta is said to is valid.
tema to shipang go shipase de ngatsu pu chung chung pero shipang go yen den chung be se de dang mo shi ye sen jin ye sen de den ji yen den chung be ke zing ma de song do.
So in the tradition of those the institutes do not really marvel by someone's clairvoyance, or someone claimed as having a clairvoyance, or someone had a supernatural power, but they marvel and praise someone who is able to interpret validly the Buddha's intended thoughts.
Da tintu gi jube tamba ta se gi ta lalen to de shangchu sama de mendu so war te ta ji ro.
So it is. So the great beings, those noble beings, has concluded that the practice of the Dharma must be, done on the basis of cultivation of bodhicitta. So without, this, cultivation of bodhicitta, and that's such practice is not a complete; it's an incomplete practice.
Tentu gi tsemi ji be tentu gi tsa chimo ze de nga so la khalo ne so le jin yue meng ji re be ten tsa chimo de re sa na tong yi na chona kal le sa re ro so le jin yu me sing yi.
So now, such a practice that is really praised and marveled by the great noble beings in the past. So now, if we were to ask this question to ourselves, is it possible that we will be able to cultivate such bodhicitta, if we were able to engage in such a practice?
Tindri ki se na one tone yong go re da yong sa gi ten ya sho lin song chi me sing de ro ba ten shang chu se che sa gi ten ya sho one tone cha chen zang sho ta nga su dan ji se na gi ja jong ko khala de me za de sha de che me do.
It is possible, of course. Certainly, we are possible to cultivate such practice and generate bodhicitta, because in fact we are said to be this best basis or the vessel for cultivating bodhicitta as a human beings, taken rebirth as a human beings. We are most suited individual to engage in the practice of bodhicitta. It is up to us whether you wanted to really engage in the practice or not. It's just like we talked about earlier, that if you have a food on the table, if you want to overcome your hunger, then you can just go ahead and eat it. It is up to you whether you want to eat it or not, but the food is on the table.
땡이 한 번씩 매봐. 로 뒤서 상주 생양서 내가에나 변한 상주 생제동이 용기 잡아놓을 네 상주 첨부 인서고. 대 인시 돈의 열에 외난소의 열에 다 길이 가리 돈의 거네 열에 상주 생각. 아니 대 저사이 길이 가리 거네 신을 아마 세대 열에. 다 소수 문제는 자세다.
So it is really true because now the most explanation and of engaging in the practice of the bodhicitta could be found in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shantideva. So now this wonderful text, and along with these commentaries are translated in English, Vietnamese, Chinese, Spanish, now all kind of languages. I mean that you can name it, all. So now we are all those are in a different language, accessible in a different languages. And then we have a teacher who are qualified to teach such a give such a teachings. Now it is up to us whether you want to take it or not. So I'm not really talking about you guys, but including myself. Why we are not being able to cultivate bodhicitta or practice, up until now is because we haven't been practiced ourselves. We really not put an effort, exert an effort, engage in the practice of bodhicitta. So then it says the guide engaging in the bodhisattva state says this altruistic spirit which is not born in others even for their own sake is a special jewel of the mind bearing an unprecedented wonders. So why we should marvel someone who had generated bodhicitta? So this is why what the engaging in the bodhisattva deed says here. So let's think about ourselves, including myself here now. Let alone that I will be able to fulfill the wishes and purpose of other beings. I can't even fulfill the purpose of my own self. Why this is happening?
We
are just, fulfill our wish is to just enough to eat and wear clothes and have a shelter.
Start pay run jane ni rani yu sha gen senja tangji ge den xing yi den je ge senji chuna da ngone yang se me jene ni garal yang se che se ya.
So now if we're not marveled by someone who have generated bodhicitta, then whom you would be marveled? Whose quality that we need to praised and marveled?
Tinti sen Rinpoche ji jesona da ngame bi mi yu jing ne tone chungbo ra wa yu me si na wo ji ro.
So it is really an unprecedented, if one is able to cultivate the altruistic spirit, in other words, the bodhicitta, it's an unprecedented quality of mind.
Tana nga chon zameli do na ngo shenge senere chongbo kase su ya na nge shende jage senge changka je chen chi me se mendo ro. Zameli yime nga so kase yo na dino lo la nge shende jage rande jin jage me senge khaya la jenge da ba changka je chen chi.
So in this world, out of billions of people, only a handful of people can say that wholeheartedly I will work for the welfare of other beings. Out of billions.
당가서 배된사리지 다 뭐네 돈에 장고로 뭐 진리지 배된사지 대시디 담아야 쉐바래다 뭐에 내친데 저래도.
So now the valid example for us is His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is solely dedicated towards working for the welfare of other sentient beings. And not only that, he he received this Nobel Peace Prize. But the deeds, when you look at his deeds, it's really solely dedicated for the welfare of other sentient beings.
Bena Changoro Moji, Zewa, Jena Zewa Chato de Nasu, Tisun Tero Shuguri, Miss Kessi Mijin Jaka Lesona, to the lady Shachigo Chanjagumarda, Bangan Senshagri. But Zewa is German to it.
If you really look at the sense of how extraordinary sense of connectedness and sense of caring of His Holiness the Dalai Lama towards other sentient beings, if you really look at them, and whoever goes approach him and see him, he will not only that he will just talk to them very politely or sincerely, but not only that he's holding their hand or shaking his hand, but he will take them and embrace them on his shoulder, just taking him in his arm, and then speak to their ears. So this is how much sense of caring and sense of compassion that His Holiness has other beings.
다 니지 정원도 로세대로. 지금 가서 제때 취재 처바다 비다보선 근데 자원인데 말이 새 니지 정원도 주소나 루비기 농주디 라명이 차로 거라.
Because this is what we call under the power of compassion, what we call it. Is that driven by the power of compassion. When you are driven by the power of compassion, not only that you communicate with the individual out of compassion, but also physically you are drawn towards that individuals, and embrace those beings in a very compassionate way.
당가서 양세체 초사로 당가서 되는 메이는 말레데 초사초와데 게 뒤나야 재미시언도 버지로 집에집에다 다 초고 이런도로 맞선데 놀시나 말레데 초랑자 초와레세데 세 자체 자노 링하이서 관계 거능에 초랑이 된다 두어데 용무시어도 말해 나당한다와.
Just like myself here now at this point, it is almost impossible for me to say that I can work for the welfare of other sentient beings solely, from the depth of my heart, So, although that we are, going through all kind of, studies of text and so forth, still, it is almost impossible to say that I can be the person who will be solely working for the welfare of other sentient beings. So why not we marvel to someone who has such a mental quality?
마신데 자와 첨부질을 삐지마도 명이 삐도 추는 코스는 마데 대이 된다를 총 먼저 태사진이야 말이. 라니 자체절로 동거라.
So someone who possesses such a mental quality has a sense of caring for all other sentient beings, just as a mother whose only child, that mother has has a compassion for her only child.
된주지 그는 양 통해지 로지래나다 양세 제사로 왔디. 이거 시사 말어 가서 저잖아.
So it is for us, it is almost like at this point, without engaging in practice, it is almost impossible for us to cultivate such a mental quality.
다때절로 다때스로가 되는 게 자기 또 현주의 지단의 삼아서 시당사 대단 계속 갈아요 된지 시장 갈아요서 선나 된다 갈아요 제당사 제당 로샤 제당제 강了三제 담바른 제대 제바 대유고라 상세신 시송바 당사 당초我们 소발에 맞은 뉴구 뉴구 숑와이 시송로지 인보숑이 담비 초도 송비 셔로 송도.
So then also, is there any virtue equal to this? Is there any such friend? Is there any such merits? And also, I bow down to the body of anyone who has generated this sacred jewel of the mind. And it is the quintessential butter churned from the milk of the sublime teachings. Thus, the spirit of enlightenment is a supreme instruction, extracting the quintessence of the scriptures. So we'll stop here. So I would request all of you, just not mere receiving this teaching and just reading, but also just read carefully and contemplate and really try to, think very carefully. It's really, really helpful. So let's do the dedications by thinking here that up until now, I haven't been able to understand, up until now that I've been under the power of this self-cherishing mind and the grasping of self. So from now on, having understood the quality of and the benefits of the bodhicitta and the wisdom realizing selflessness or the emptiness, I'll exert an effort to engage in the practice of generating bodhicitta and wisdom realizing selflessness to gain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. May all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of me bless me to be able to do this.
Sanje shendo me de bewa ye togen nanda shen la sheba sho gundo yada lama dan deme che je be la la she chen sadan la je yen den ro zo ne do je chang ge go bon yen do sho Guru Rana Mire Lagana Yada Yame Soni Ne Kada Yamba Kashi Sabati Nomi Mare Kedon Jowana Nare Jaye Ombo Dajuchi Tema Sumbi Sera Kedoya Jambe Yanje Zeve Chizone Tempe Rinpa Kyun San Lan Je Cho Nyene Druve Jena Nyishi Cho Rangi Chi Jin Dobe Lan Je Ne Shoda Tseve Changye Tage Je Roye Yue Je Minpa Se Je Ne Jaye Tenpa Yu Ren Zin Jo Chi Tenpa Ren Chen Jo Cho nyamba jebe shode ne Nye chenpo yiro choba ye Pende de sewa sheba sho Se jen jaye mi zhong chen le Le zhu shang chu lang je chen be chang Tang de nang je ye la pe de shen Jia yue zi ba rin do chong ju chi Lang zang zhu bi ten chen zhu xie chen Ge chen si jie men tang min min kun Ce ro kun du jia yue ngang ba ye Nang da lang tang zhe wa ma ju chi Kan se te ba chu la chu xue chen Si chen zhu la sun ba te yue ce Tu den nang zhe da du zhu xie chen Zha xie jiang ci shu gun qiao ju ji Goze Rodin Jin Naga Chenle Shuju Jebodo Lozan Denbi Zhumen Sasun Ji Roye Minse Dado Ninju Ji Rawe Goye Shingan Su Pindon Dewa Malin Jongye Ne Xinre Zewan Denzin Jiazo Ye Xiaobe Sinti Bado Denju Ji Bayue Jida Chenpo Dong Gundo Zangbo Tenyang Tejin De Teda Gunje Jisu Dalo She Gyewan Teda Tangji Radu Gong Duzon Shebe Jawa Tangji Je Wawa Gangla Chodo Gangbo De Dajin Gye Zawa Digin Jang Zombo Shushi Radu Gong Ji 哎呀，对不起。